Welcome to the Perfect Storm. Justin, how are you today?
Good, Phil.
Kyle,
Going well,
how are you
mate.
going?
Doing well.
I'm
Doing well, mate.
Phil Yates. This is the Perfect Storm. We are discussing current news in the light of Bible prophecy. How are we feeling today?
Mate, if I was any better, I'd be dangerous. It's possible I am dangerous, but that's all right.
Yeah.
It's a dangerous world we live in. There's
It
some
sure is.
dangerous stuff going on. Hey, I want to do a big shout out to a good mate of mine, Danny the Milenkoff. He has a show called Looking Up on Faith FM.
He sure does.
Danny's such a gangster. He makes me laugh. He's an expert on goat's milk. If you ever need to know anything about goat's milk, Danny. But he and Charissa, look, can we put them on the screen?
They're on.
Like,
He's got
Danny has a face for radio. Look at that. God
That's
bless you guys.
that's on Wednesday.
They're doing a very similar program, only much better than ours. So good on you guys.
Wednesday at 3:30 to 5:30. Thank
Yeah.
you, Danny.
Yeah.
Turning up every Wednesday.
Doesn't he? He
Actually,
makes
a
me
good
laugh,
show.
Danny. Danny's a crack up.
Looking Up. Great,
Yep.
great name too.
It is better than ours.
Yeah, Perfect Storm. Yeah. Kyle, can you tell me, can you give me a little bit of an update on any conflicts that's going on with America and Iran? And
Apparently there is a war about to escalate, or at least they're sending a lot of people there to be ready for war. But I actually haven't been tracking this one closely enough. I'm going to need an education from our war correspondent.
let's go to the war correspondent out
Everything-
there in the field.
Everything involves fighting. That's me.
Out there in the field while bombs are going off around him. Justin.
I'm not going to the Middle East. I've been in the Middle East. I've had enough of that place. But the American Navy, the United States of America, our Trumpy Bear,
Yes.
is sending over an aircraft carrier battle group.
At the
a
moment.
second one, right now as we speak, as this goes to air. We're on a Tuesday here, are we?
Wow.
He's sending in some big guns. Here's what's going on for the folks at home. Again, every week we've got something so dramatic going on that is like could change the course of human history stuff.
Keeps the program going, but it's
I can't believe it. So
that good for
here
the
they
world.
are, the Persians, Iran, and that's the Persian Empire and Bible prophecy, the modern state of Iran. They have become Shia Muslims in the meantime. From Bible times, they didn't exist, but they are building a nuclear weapon, or a lot of people I listen to that I think would know say they could already have one. Trump is saying, we're not going to let you have one. You can either talk to us and negotiate it, or we're going to bomb all your facilities into the dark ages.
What do you think about this one I'm putting on the screen here, Justin? Sorry to interrupt you. When a country like Iran deliberately and with malice and forethought locates itself right in the middle of some of US military bases, you know they're looking for trouble and maybe even the leading state sponsor of terrorism.
America's got a good big footprint, mate. Look at them up there in Turkey. even.
Team America World Police, right?
And if that wasn't enough, there's 2 aircraft carrier battle groups. So that means destroyers, submarines, the whole kit and caboodle that come with an aircraft carrier battle group. They're using these big X-wing these bombers as well. They've used one on the Yemenis or Yemen with the Houthis already. They've dropped some pretty nasty, ordnance.
Will they be able to fight back?
No. They don't have an air force. They have amazing missiles they've got from China and Russia, but their land army, where are they going to go to? They can only invade their neighbor Iraq and going the other way. They don't. I don't think they're playing it very smart. They are very apocalyptic in their theology. The form of Islam that exists there in what was Persia is Iran is Shia, where the Shiites, where the rest are Sunnis. And the Shiites are the apocalyptic dudes of the Islamic world. They've got a bit of a let's blow everything up mentality. it's dangerous. It's very dangerous what's going on. And Trump has said they've given the weaponry to Israel, but they're going to assist. I don't think Trump's playing. People know that if he says something, he'll, whether you agree or not agree, he usually does it.
Yep.
He usually does it. So it's a very dangerous time because of what the Israelis are saying is their intelligence, who can believe which is true, whatever, but their intelligence is that Iran is planning to bomb Tel Aviv with a nuclear weapon and wipe out the state of Israel. They're not going to touch Jerusalem because of the Al-Aqsa Mosque there, but they're going to take out the rest of Israel, which is a big, big problem.
So this is happening next week or this week.
But we don't know. We don't know if it'll ever happen. And maybe they do a peace deal. We pray they do a peace deal.
Yeah.
But I don't know. No one's been able to get them to get off their path of arming. And as that slide said, America's done lots of stuff around them, so of course they feel that way. It's a very serious thing.
Israel's done some pretty nasty things to them.
Big time.
Like the pages.
They do it both. The problem is that the Houthis that are bombing ships in the Red Sea, going up Suez Canal, they're paid for and sponsored by Iran. Hezbollah, Hamas, these are all Iranian-backed.
Yeah.
The Iranians got a lot of cash. They're pouring everything in their country to taking out the two great Satans. Little Satan is Israel. The big Satan is the United States. And they want them not to exist. That's just how it is.
That's from their view. Yeah.
And how do you think America, they're going to get warm and fuzzy about that? No, they're going to bomb them into the dark ages. That's what they're planning to do.
Kyle, any comment on this?
I'm trying to learn more about it, but yeah, I don't understand why every Middle Eastern country has to be bombed and have every leader removed.
I don't know why America's over there, mate. They should have never gone, but they have now. But here we are. It came to them. Islam has this. They are trying to slaughter every Christian they can right now in former Syria. This is a clash of theology. It's a clash of ideology and culture and religion. It's a big clash. And look at human history. It's strewn with this carnage where we just can't live peacefully. We have to go to war with one another. And we're at a place now where they have built such underground bunkers in Iran, under mountains. So they know the Americans are going to bomb them. And so they built these massive network of tunnels underground that they believe can't be impacted. But America has bunker busters that are nuclear warhead armed, that they will have to send in these amazing ordnance that go 100 feet, 200 feet underground and then blow up. Like the technology they're using. And if they use depleted uranium, they use these a small nuclear warhead. It's a very, very serious piece of ordnance that will do some damage.
I do have a question, Phil, since you asked. Here's a thought.
Yep.
Prophetically speaking, Revelation, 19-something? Babylon is fallen. That's 3 angels' message.
18. Yep.
That makes all nations drink of the wine of the wrath of fornication.
Third angel's message.
So is there room for Muslim nations in the final days, or are we going to cleanse the world back to a Christian population before prophecy can play out, or is there always going to be Muslim nations?
Islam's identified in Bible prophecy. It's in the seals and the coming out of the abyss, the locusts. The Ottoman Empire was a very significant empire. That Australia gets engaged in the First World War against the Turks at Gallipoli. That's against the Ottoman Empire, which is an Islamic empire. The tail end of the Crusades, if you like. That's there and identified, but at the end, the last superpower, this is according to the Bible, is the United States. How does Islam play in that? I think this is Justin's opinion, Phil. Is that okay?
Well, you know, we've got the beasts that are coming out of the sea and then one on the land.
We do. But Islam's role for me is to polarize. They are by nature fundamentalist in their view of the world, that they can be the only one. There's only one true one. There's this whole idea that we can have religious liberty and live and let live doesn't feature in the way they view the world. Christianity has been very tolerant over the ages. I personally believe in religious liberty. I want anyone to not believe or to believe. That's their own business. As long as they're not hurting other people, go your hardest.
Yeah.
What's happening to the world is getting polarized into fundamentalism. And Islam's role in doing that, because to beat a fundamentalist, you're going to have to become fundamentalist.
Very fundamental.
And Christianity is increasingly becoming fundamentalist. We don't, if you're not with us, you're against us type thing. And we can't tolerate you guys existing and having any power. That's what's going on for me. And that's the role that Islam's playing here at the end time. In the end, there are such miracles that take place in Revelation 13 that the whole world is in awe. And I believe that all religions, because of the miracles, will come under the one great banner.
You think Christianity is becoming a lot more political?
Oh, 100%.
So that's why it's becoming less tolerant.
Oh, I guess so. You can be political and be tolerant because the word politics means compromise.
Yeah.
They're always compromising. That's why most
You're not seeing
average
Trump
people don't
compromising.
like them. No, see, this is a fundamentalist. This is nationalism. And they don't tolerate. They can put tariffs on their friends and they don't care because they have what they are doing is the most important thing. So it's related to fundamentalism. And it's whether you like it or not, and you don't have to agree with me, but it's happening. Just watch it. It's happening everywhere. Everywhere.
Well, while we're on America, let's talk about this constitutional crisis. And there is a constitutional crisis. Talk
Why?
about injunctions. Justin, what's going on? Judges are getting upset at Trump.
We should say some things to bring this in.
Yeah, let's bring it in.
Okay, because a lot of people misunderstand what America is. America is a constitutional republic. And so when we, in Australia, when we do our pledge and allegiance, say, we used to sing when I was a kid. I don't know what it was like for you, Kyle. I'm a bit older than you.
I can't imagine
God
you
Save the
singing.
Queen. Did you sing that as the national anthem?
I remember when I was younger, I used to.
God Save the Queen.
Yeah, how
and then
old were you?
became Advanced Australia Fair.
We
I
didn't
don't
ever
know.
sing it.
You never sang it.
God Save the
I
Queen.
thought so.
Just the
I
national.
can tell.
I
Mate.
remember singing both.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
I remember when in the late 70s when Advanced Australia Fair, first time I ever heard it.
Yeah.
You could tell because of my young good looks that I never sung it.
Naivety. Sort of
Okay.
In America, you listen to a sheriff. He puts up his hand. A military officer, any police officer, a prison guard. I promise to uphold the Constitution. Everything goes off the Constitution.
Most important thing.
It's what defines they are a constitutional republic. They're not strictly a democracy, even though it's built on democratic principles. It's a constitutional republic. And in their constitution, there's 3 co-equal branches of government. The lawmaking side, the House, the Congress, whatever we want to call that.
Yep.
Then we have the executive branch, which is the White House. That's Trump and all these guys. Then we have the judicial or the courts.
Right.
Trump's side has got the House and the Senate and the executive. He's got everything, but there's still the courts. And so what's happening? Judges are putting out a law. On the weekend, Trump's flying out these really bad guys, supposedly bad guys that are a part of gangs from South America. He puts them all on a plane and flies them down to Venezuela or wherever they were going to get put straight in a prison down there. He's done a deal with the government. This judge in Washington, D.C., a local he's federal, he puts out an order to say that plane has to return with all those people on it. And Trump and his crew just ignore the order, which makes they're breaking the law. Now, you can go to jail if you break the law, Phil. You're not supposed to break the law. So here we have a judge telling a president what he can and can't do. That is what we call a constitutional crisis. Which one's going to win? And now, normally it would get resolved in the Supreme Court, which the Conservatives had the most judges in.
Yep.
But they don't really want to know about this. And so all of a sudden, the president said, I'm going to keep flying these bad guys out. That's what I was elected to do. But the judge puts out an order and he's saying, put it in your pipe and smoke it. I'm not going to listen to you.
Wow.
That's going to have ramifications.
So how's this going to play out, Colin?
Well, it's playing out. Breaking. A federal judge is forcing Texas A&M University to host a drag show on their campus, even after the board attempted to block it in accordance with Trump's executive order. And so now federal judges are pushing degenerate gender ideology to students on campus, apparently, according to this person.
And this is the new war. The Democrats lost all the elections, and they didn't lose a little bit. They lost, let's say, in a landslide, Phil.
Yep.
And on the other side, what are they going to do? Well, they've got all these judges, and what they do, they go judge shopping. They find a federal judge that's a Democrat. They might have been put in by Obama or by Biden or someone on that side. It's very politicized. And they just get, well, you stop Trump for us now. And that's what they're doing. What's going to happen?
So the Senate placed the judge.
The federal judges are placed in, usually they get nominated by the president or his team. So Obama puts in federal judges.
So
Trump
you don't have to
puts
go
in
through the
federal
Senate.
judges. Yeah, they get confirmed.
Okay.
Depends on what level. A lot of them go through a lot easier when it's a lower level. But they've got the jurisdiction of Washington, D.C., which is highly Democrat liberal area,
Yep.
is making pronouncements for the entire country to defy what Trump is trying to do. You can see that's not how a democracy
But
works.
how can one judge say that about Trump?
The Constitution. They
What,
say
he's the ruler.
what I'm doing is upholding the Constitution, and the president's breaking it. So here we have, that's why it's called a constitutional crisis. Who's going to win? And I'm telling you now, what has Trump lost? He's going to win this, but how will they curtail the power of the courts and the judges? Well, what they've decided to do, and by the time this goes to air for Faith FM, the House are threatening to impeach that judge. So they're going to drag that judge before the Congress and have a mini trial, but only the Senate, and it has to be a 75% majority or whatever in the Senate can actually do that. And the Senate's too close, so they'll never actually get that judge voted out. Impeach, which means removed from being a judge. They won't be able to do that, but what they'll be able to do is cause this dude, this lady, whoever this judge is, so much pain. They're going to be so prominent, their kids won't be able to walk down the street because, remember, Trump's side is an angry mob. And they'll hear that this judge, they'll find out his name, they'll look up the phone book and Google and find everything they can, and they'll make their life hell on earth, so to speak.
I don't know what would possess a judge to do that. He must be put up to it.
No, she thinks they're right, and Trump's bad. So that's why they do it. But
The angry mob on the left is wrecking a lot of Teslas right now at the moment.
speaking of angry mobs,
The other thing that DOJ is now doing from Donald Trump, the executive branch hereby notifies the court that no further information will be provided in response to the court's March 8 minute order based on the state secrets privilege. Basically saying this is secret federal business now, and we're not giving you anything that you asked
That's
for.
right. We're not going to give you what you've requested. And by the way, we might defund your Washington circuit and reorganize all those courts. So you federal judges now have to do petty crime as well. Instead of federal cases, we're going to get rid of all the judges locally because the Congress funds all that. Oh, we appoint courts. We'll get rid of all them. You now can worry about the guy that jaywalked if you want to run the country. Here, why don't you sort out that? So there's a lot of tools. And historically, the Republicans are so, oh, we can't do that. That's not Trump. Trump's a gangster. He's just like, yeah, let's do whatever we can to destroy that court there so they can't do it. So what he's done, which is a piece of brilliance, I don't care what you think of Trump. I'm just saying that all the court cases that he fought, he was charged with 34 felonies and convicted.
This is Trump.
The Trump was. So
Right.
there's a big lawyer group called, oh boy, help me here. The legal office.
We'd love to help you.
I can't remember their name right. Perkins Coie.
Never heard of
Worth
'em.
their turnover is like $1.5 billion because they do all the federal work. So this is what Trump has done. He hasn't tried to jail them. He wrote an order that said no federal money can go to this legal firm, Perkins Coie, and anyone that works that gives them legal cases, they will not get any government contracts if you use that legal firm. Signs the order. And you know what Perkins Coie did? Collapsed. Folded. This guy who's the major Democrat, he's like the enemy of Trump. You know what he did a few days ago?
What?
He went and met Trump at the White House and he signed a little agreement. We don't know what's fully in this, but they surrendered. Now, these are the guys that got the Russiagate against Trump. These are the guys that have had Trump. They've been trying to destroy him. In one move that no one saw or thought of, he said, no government funds can go to you. They're based in Washington, D.C. They live off the government. That's where they just live. And any other person in America who uses your legal firm can have no government funds. And overnight, they're bankrupt, so
Isn't
to
it funny
speak.
that people choose money over what they really believe in? So he really believes he's a Democrat, but bang, money's gone. Now I want money.
Now I like Trump.
Yeah, now
Now I like Trump. And that's why at the end in Revelation 13, you can't buy or sell. And this is setting all this up. They're seeing the power of the purse is how you get people's hearts.
Yep.
You can't buy or sell unless you receive the mark and the number of his name. So straight away, they're saying, hey, we know how to manipulate everything now. We'll just take away all your money because we control the public purse.
So it's better not to love money. It's better to love Jesus.
Stephen Miller here. What's Stephen Miller's job? Is he secretary to the... He's the assistant of the commander-in-chief, like the...
Something like that.
What's the lady? Sorry.
He's been around for... he's the deputy of
The lady.
the Attorney General.
Oh, is he?
I don't know.
Pam Bondi? No. What's the...
Pam Bondi's the
What's the
Attorney
lady
General.
that sits at Trump's right? The chief of staff.
Okay.
I think-
Actually,
I think
people
this
yelling
is
at
this
you
guy.
through the radio going,
Sorry.
I know.
This
Yeah,
is painful.
we're
This
idiots.
is painful, I know. He is saying you cannot have a democracy where a single individual district court judge can assume the full and total powers of the commander-in-chief.
So, see, normally, historically, the Republicans would retreat from this thinking, oh, this could be, if you're a politician, you compromise. You think about, oh, this could go badly, let's do a deal. Not these guys. They're going to take on this judge. They're going to try to impeach him, make their life miserable. All the lawyers that are trying to do this, they're shutting down their businesses in Washington, D.C. They're playing for keeps. This is a new day, folks. That's why we started this show. This is not business as usual. We're coming to the end of Earth's history, and it is heating up.
Talk to us about Teslas.
Teslas.
What is happening to Teslas being burnt?
Me and Blake and I, my mum would have me say, discussed this on the last episode. People beating
Burnt or vandalised?
everything.
Yep.
They have all sorts of things just wrecking.
Why are they burning them?
Well, they got EDS. That's Elon derangement syndrome. If you had to listen to the show, you would have known.
Yeah.
But,
Sorry, Kyle.
Yeah, no, there's
It was a good show.
and then the government has announced or declared that they are domestic terror organisations, and they've got special task forces looking into them to try and figure out why there's so many dealerships being targeted and who's behind it, who's funding it.
So the stocks are plummeting?
Well, they did. They went right back to the prices where I bought in.
Yep.
So you own
you bought
Tesla
in there,
stock, eh?
Kyle.
You own. We don't give financial
Yeah. We
advice
do
here.
not.
We
No.
do not give
We do
financial
not.
advice. But hey,
And that's why.
press the like button. We do give that advice because that's going to increase the number of people that see this show. So we want you to like the program.
Good plug there, Justin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's on YouTube.
I
Not
got
on the
you
radio.
off the shares.
If
for a
you're in
minute.
your car on the radio, there is no like button for you.
Yeah,
The
but if you're on
questions-
YouTube, a lot of people watch the YouTube channel.
So yeah, no, they're trying to seriously hurt the price. Tim Waltz, actually, the old VP, he gets on stage and says that he loves it. He gets a real kick out of it when the Tesla stock price goes down.
They
buys more.
have become, they can't touch Trump. Trump has got a Teflon suit. No matter what they've thrown at this man, he is unreal.
Here we go. Military veteran to Tesla protesters. I'm only here buying a Tesla because of you people.
So they're just burning random and vandalising
Shooting
random
them, bombing them,
Yeah.
just
Molotov
down the street,
cocktails
They
wherever
actually-
they are.
at the dealerships.
They found some
At the dealerships,
bombs in the dealerships, many of them being burnt. But yeah, the response is that Trump bought a Tesla. Many military veterans are going and buying Teslas. So
Alex Jones is riding around in one that's got
Yeah.
a special edition. So the right wingers who
So the
are so
conservatives are buying.
anti-climate change and anti-electric cars
Hmm.
all of a sudden have joined the electric car brigade to support Trump because an attack on Elon, the way the left is trying to get to Trump is to attack Elon.
this military vet's wife
He's-
comes and drags him away.
Yeah,
from
he's
the
out there trying to
protesters.
fight with everyone. Yeah, it's a tense time in America.
Very tense.
I'm so glad that we don't have that here yet.
Talking about a tense time, Justin, I want to talk about the Archbishop of Greece. Of Greece, sorry.
Greek. I learned Greek.
The Archbishop. Orthodox
Hang on,
Greek.
who are we talking about,
The
Who's
Phil?
the
Orthodox
Archbishop of
Greek.
Greek?
No, he's in America.
Okay, but
He's
he's
an
Greek.
Archbishop of the Greek Orthodox.
Perfect.
Greek Orthodox what?
He's made a big statement. Now I've got that out.
He sure has.
He's made a massive statement, and he says that Trump is the embodiment of Constantine. What do you think about this?
I would. Me personally, I'm no fan of Constantine. He
Let's-
famously
Let's give a little history.
baptizes people by holding a sword to their throat, sort of thing, and walking them through a river. And he says, "Now you're all Christians." And he's the father, if you like, of making the church and the state the one thing. He's the father of it. Where, you know, for centuries, Christians, there's this amazing account of a church council of the early Christian fathers outside Bible times, and in that early time, half of them are missing limbs and eyes, where they've all been tortured and persecuted. And these are like the elders in the church. And that's where Christianity just went like wildfire. And then Constantine comes along as the Holy Roman Emperor.
Yep.
And he really creates the office of that becomes the pontiff, that the Caesar, what was the Caesar, becomes the head of the church and the head of the government. And he converts to Christianity, and we don't know his heart, we're not his judge, but we know what happened. And that becomes the downfall of Christianity. It leads to the Dark Ages because they compromise everything now that they're popular. They were once unpopular. And so this archbishop, who's from Constantinople, which is Turkey,
He was born there. Yep.
this is Islamic now. All those big mosques there were once Christian churches. This is crusade stuff. So this is very political. He gives Trump this cross. Have you got a picture of him giving the cross, Scott?
Yeah.
He gives Trump this cross and says, may America become invincible. And, the power of this little graven image is going to do that for you. We don't believe that graven images give you power. We believe that a relationship with Jesus through the Bible will give you power.
And
But
peace and joy.
Trump's being respectful, and he knows these guys they want to do the right thing. God bless the man for doing that kind thing. But when he calls Trump, I hope he's not prophesying that he's Constantine, because Constantine brought the church and the government together, which I believe led to a horrendous time for the Christian church.
There's a lot of people claiming that this is exactly what Trump's all about. Do you guys believe that this is what he's about and it's going to happen in his 4 years?
I'm not sure he's fully aware of it, but I think there's forces bigger than him that are bringing it down.
I don't think he's opposed to it.
I don't think he is either. There's a naivety with him and Christianity that sets him up for this. He sets him up for it. And let me tell you, because I get accused of being I'm advocating for Trump or something. If he does this, this will be a disaster for the Christian church. We're on the verge of it anyway, and it is really what Revelation 13's warning is about. We don't know dates and times, but we know events. And the church and the government will definitely join up again at the end of time. It forms an image to the beast. The image is back to that time when Constantine did that. The beast of the Dark Ages was church and government together. When you form an image to the beast, you are doing the exact thing again, but for a really short time, not over 1,000 years. It's short.
So let me ask then, if that's, so what? If this, then that. So if Trump's going to be the one that brings about, this Constantine-like religion and state back together, shouldn't we all just be like fighting for the other side and, down with Trump and down with Elon and let's make life hard and let's vote all the Democrats back in?
We should be fighting for Jesus and the Bible. We should be giving Bible studies and teaching the scripture to everyone. Politics.
Amen.
Politics, it comes and goes. This book has remained. So I don't think we should be taking sides. Yep, I commentate on it, and I'm really interested because I do believe we're living in such serious times. I don't think getting out into a political movement is going to help the world. I think we should be preaching the gospel. I think we should be teaching the Bible. And to the listeners at home, if you have not yet got your study guide, we really want you to get hold of it. And so you can not only know the Bible for yourself, but you could teach it to someone else. And that's how we've set these things up. What number?
With the phone number?
Yeah, I'm just doing a segue. We'll go back to your things in a minute. I want to make sure we get that in.
082 876.
0482 082 876. Make sure you get to know the Bible and you teach it to others. That's how we bulletproof people.
So you text the word study to that number.
Study.
We'll get you a study guide. So my question was, if Trump is the one that is going to bring about the combination of church and state, which is a fulfillment of prophecy, which will lead to the end days.
Wow.
Well, shouldn't we all be fighting for more of the Democrat Party, which is less about Christianity, less about Christianity in politics, and more about, I guess, drag shows and unisex bathrooms? I don't know. Like,
I
what
can't
was
do
Obama
that.
for?
My belief system is aligned with Scripture, which says there's two genders. And it doesn't advocate for all that other stuff. So I can't do that. I just can't. I think we should be preaching freedom, religious liberty, and as long as people are not harming other people, what they do is their own business. I'm a libertarian in my theology, but boy, we are witnessing this. Here's the thing. The Project 2025, which appears to me to be the blueprint they're following, they want it all done in 180 days. 180 days.
It's pretty quick.
So,
and do you reckon the Sunday law is part of that?
We're going to see, aren't we? But there's 6 pages in there about it.
So are you suggesting, sorry to keep harping on, I just need clarification. Are you
We should be giving
suggesting
Bible
that
studies.
I'm not holier if I publicly hate Trump because of his attempts to bring in the Sunday law?
I think you should pray for all leaders on both sides. We've got to be above the fray with the politics. Politics is not the answer. Politics is also not even the question. Jesus is the answer. Jesus is the question. What have you done with him?
Yeah.
That's our motto.
Okay.
And let's remain above the fray. Now, we commentate on it because it's so significant what's going on.
Yeah.
Urging people to say, hey, we live in very serious times. Get your house in order. Get your house in order, because there's some big stuff going to happen. One of my favorite verses in the whole Bible is Jeremiah 12:5. If you've run with the footmen, or if you've run with men and grown tired, how shall you run with horses? God say to Jeremiah, you think he's having a little pity party, Jeremiah, early on in his book. God says, you have no idea what you have to do yet, mate. This is the easy stuff. You've been running with men and you've got tired. Before this is over, you're going to have to run with horses. Then you'll be tired. So I think that's where we live. This is the easy time now.
Thanks for the clarification. I was just asking because there's just so many friends on social media who seem to, need some clarification on that
It's
question. I just
cool
had
to
ask.
beat up on Orange Man. Orange Man is bad.
Right.
And there's a lot of bad stuff that he's doing. And I don't think he's the answer. He's just not.
But bottom line, let's translate what Justin said. Get your house in order. That is exactly what we're asking you to do. You can read the Bible from front to back, and that's great. But you want something that will help you read the Bible a lot quicker and help you understand a lot of the things the Bible teaches. That study guide, text study to 0482 082 876. This is what we mean by getting your house in order.
Brother, I'm more terrified when I hear them talking Christian nationalism than anything I've ever heard, because I know where that's going. And the Bible tells me about that. Christian nationalism? Are you kidding? Christianity is not a national religion. It's a personal one that you have to put on the inside. You don't put it on like a coat. It changes you from the inside out. This is freaking me out when I hear them talking that way, and they're doing it every day, more and more and more.
I'm just playing the devil's advocate here, but isn't that Trump's fault that we're down this path?
It's bigger than Trump. Trump's just he's an amazing politician they've been able to use to get that far. I don't care what anyone says on either side. The dude was dead and buried politically, and now he's the president for the second time. Like, wow. They tried to shoot him. They hit him in the ear.
Trump's his own thing. He's not playing
He's Teflon, mate.
He's not playing the Republican playbook. He's chucked that out. He's playing his own playbook.
He definitely is, and he's a very flawed man, clearly. But there's political forces around him that are just using him to get to where they want to go.
Spiritual forces
of wickedness in heavenly places.
Do they use the other side as well? Do they just use Trump? Just checking.
The other side is cause Trump. It's the
other
lunacy.
side has caused
The
Trump.
lunacy of the left.
Unpack that for me, please.
You've got a grown man dressed as a woman in makeup and wigs and all sorts of who knows what's under
children's
that.
story hour at the library. Necessary
and I
education.
don't know why Christians are upset.
Yeah.
Oh, mate, the blokes I grew up with that never darkened the door of the church would just think that's disgusting. And I'm sorry, it is. That's what's led to Trump.
Okay.
The extremes of the left always polarize, and we're very polarized, and we're going to have a fun time in the future because of all that.
Just one little comment on Australia. Do you think Australia's polarised, or do you think they're both parties are right near the middle?
We're looking for the next long weekend. We want to go camping.
Can I keep going with my questions, or have you had enough of this?
No, you can drill down. You're going to make me mad here in a minute.
I'm just
I can see
wondering.
it. I feel it coming.
Well, I just see that there's just such unnecessary and unreasonable cuts to USAID funding. Why would they make such ridiculous cuts to life-saving programs? Isn't he a bad person for cutting that funding?
It might be the fact that they have $2,000 billion deficit a year.
Oh, but you can't kill people because of that.
$2,000 billion. That's $2 trillion
It's a fair bit of money.
deficit every year, which is going to bankrupt the world and put us all we'll be in bread lines trying to get some bread because our whole economy will collapse. They have to stop the spend.
So you're saying this is bigger than just the one charity program that I'm concerned about?
Don't get me down that hole.
Okay. I'm just checking because I see comments on Facebook and I'm asking questions on their behalf.
Do we have any questions, Kyle?
I asked all my questions.
No, but weren't there some
Well,
sent
there's
in
some
from last week?
sent in.
Oh, okay.
Let's spend a couple of minutes on questions.
He's trying to get me in a hole here.
I'm trying to ask questions,
Yeah.
trying to understand, trying to give a voice to those voiceless folk who can only
Okay.
type with their keyboards. Somebody says, I miss Blake from Faith FM. It was so lovely to see his
Amen.
Amen.
He's
see
he's
his
got a
face.
Back
gift,
on.
Blake. He's a weapon, Blake.
He's got a good
Absolutely.
face. Don't fall for the media on this one. The astronauts weren't stuck up there. And I think most astronauts would jump at the chance to spend extra time in space.
Okay.
Interesting.
Not going there either.
Not going there.
No,
Oh, okay.
don't know anything about
Yeah,
it.
their bones get fragile up there.
They
Need
didn't,
gravity.
they didn't look amazing when they got back.
No.
I'll check for some text messages while you guys finish up with your last topic.
Well, it's been good.
That was the
I
last
hope
topic.
so. That was our last topic.
That's
Oh,
the
okay.
last topic. But it has been good talking to you guys today. It's been very insightful, and I just love how God sorted it all out.
Mm.
God knows exactly what's going on. He knows exactly who's in power, and He knows exactly what's going to happen. He's going to guide us through. We may not know everything, but He's going to guide us through.
Amen. Phil.
So our relationship with Christ is detrimental at the end. And I'd say that we're at the end. We're near the end.
Detrimental. Unpackage that.
Well, your relationship with Christ is very needed.
Okay.
Detrimental to your life.
Detrimental's bad, isn't it?
Detrimental's bad. You mean essential?
Detrimental.
Yeah. If it's detrimental, it's bad for you. That's what I just want to call.
It's
qualify.
essential.
It's essential, is what you're trying to say. You're
Essential,
right. It's not
reasonable, and-
detrimental. It's essential.
It's a reasonable and necessary service. Okay. We do have a comment. Hi guys. God's kingdom is about to solve all the problems, not Elon Musk or any other human being.
Amen.
We all
True.
need to focus on the kingdom. All genuine Christians are neutral. What do you think of that?
about
all genuine Christians are neutral. I guess it's between, I don't know, Trump or Biden. I don't know.
Well, it's
Left or
what
right.
Justin was saying before.
No involvement in
is.
politics, says this person.
All Christians are biblical.
I don't know that we can say you shouldn't vote. Some Christians interpret it to say we shouldn't vote. We're part of a society. Paul says in Romans chapter 13 that when the Roman soldier carries a sword, he does so in God's will and act in God's will because you've been acting wickedly. The Bible teaches that there are governments or kingdoms that God sets up and he pulls them down. He used even Nebuchadnezzar as his instrument. So I agree with the sentiment that we shouldn't be on some political team like that's going to be the solution. But I do think we have to be active part of our society and we have to voice what's right, that we know is right.
Should Christians get into local politics, like local government office?
I know a bloke that's doing that up Kempsey way. Go your hardest, mate. Look, I'm into preaching the gospel.
Okay.
And I know we live in Canberra. I meet politicians of quite high levels. And there's some, I go to the prayer breakfast every year and we meet the guys that identify as Christians. Whether they are or they aren't is not my business. They're on a journey with God. And I appreciate the fact they try and uphold the values. There's a politician, his dad was a pastor. He was an SAS soldier. I shouldn't name him, but he's from the West. I'm very impressed with his attitude of personal freedom and liberty. That's what Christianity is all about. And it's good when we have people in political places that is promoting Christian liberty.
It's awesome. Thanks for answering my questions.
No worries.
Thank you, Kyle. Thank you, Justin.
Thanks,
It's
Phil.
been great.
Have a happy day.
Thanks for leading. If you're loving the way Phil is leading, leave a comment.
We're loving
Yeah.
it.
We're loving it.
It's essential to leave a comment.
He's better than that last fella.
Yeah.
Way better.
No, he's not.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for listening.